Well, that's lovely, isn't it, folks? Good evening from Star Valley in Wyoming, the western edge of the state. The first state that, as a state, granted women the right to vote. First in the nation for that. Wyoming, land of oil, agriculture, many other things. Welcome back, folks. If anybody tunes in, I hope you get a chance to see this stunning beauty behind me. And this isn't even the prettiest spot, just one spot next to my hotel as I'm standing here in Star Valley, a place I haven't been for a while. I was out here in 1994, intended to buy a plot of land to build a house on eventually, about 20 miles, 30 kilometers north of here, towards Jackson Hole. And hello, whoever that is, I can't see who it is. It's a little, the text is kind of small. But I didn't buy it because at the time, the home association fees seemed quite excessive. In retrospect, I wish I had bought it because I could have made a lot of money off of the land. Anyway, things are quite expensive around here now. People have really pushed up the property values. But I'm here in Star Valley, and you can take a look behind me there. That's the mountains there. Just gorgeous. And you can see the yellow trees. Some of them on the mountain there are aspen trees. They're known as quaking aspen with the white bark on them and the beautiful yellow trees. Just absolutely stunning. I have lots of great footage to show folks. So today I started my day in Salt Lake City, and I walked to the Family History Center in Salt Lake City, run by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons. And excuse me, I went there to do some research, and I had a big success. I found an ancestor whose document was hard to find and was inaccessible from outside the history library because some of the collections they have restrictions based on who allowed them to make the microfilm. And so you can't always see some of the collections. This was one of those collections from Germany from years back. So I was able to get an image and extended a whole new line going back with the spouse and her maiden name and the village she was from, which is going to open up some new possibilities to go down that line. Excuse me. So that was fantastic. On my way out, as I was kind of rushing out because I wanted to get up here to stop by a realty office before they closed at 5 o'clock, and I did get here by 4:30. But on my way out of the Family History Library there in Salt Lake City, I went upstairs and said, can I take some photos so I can show these to other researchers who would like to come here? And they said, sure. So I took some pictures, was walking around photographs, and I turned, and there was this fan chart. Now, a fan chart is where you have a large piece of paper, and you have the person, and then the parents, then the grandparents, the great-grandparents, and it just keeps fanning out generation after generation. So most of those are in black and white. It's hard to find somebody that's got a big printer that can make a large one. Well, interesting thing. So this is pretty cool. If you ever go to the Family History Library, whether you're a Mormon or not a Mormon, it's open to the public. I'm not a Mormon. Anyway, so I started to take a picture of one because I thought it was a sample. The lady said, can I help you? Apparently it was somebody's chart. I said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was somebody's. I thought it was a sample. She goes, would you like to get yours printed out? I said, well, I don't know my Ancestry.com account information offhand. She said, well, this isn't from that. It'll come from Family Search. I said, well, I just changed the password downstairs, so I know how to get into that. She said, well, we'll get someone to help you. Do you have about 45 minutes? I said, well, that's pushing it, 45 minutes, but why not? I'm here. I came all this way. So I sat down. This wonderful young man named Matt came over. It could have been more than 17 or 18 years old. And we were all over it. He was pretty impressed because I know how to use the sites, but he showed me exactly where to go, what to do, boom, 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 boom. We went in. I went into my Family Search account, and I didn't have a tree in there. I guess I never put one in, or it was too big. I don't recall. Anyway, so he had me put in my father and my mother and their birth and death dates, which I knew. And boom, shakalaka, it connected to all the sites out there, including Ancestry.com, and downloaded my tree because it's publicly available. And there it was. So we printed out 9 generations, and many of my lines go back all the way back 9 generations. Some, there's empty gaps there. And then we printed 7 generations, and here I have them. Also kindly gave me a tube, for shipping. I'll carry this on the plane. It was just awesome. Those people are so wonderful. It was amazing. So for those who want to research their family history, it's absolutely amazing. Fantastic. I was last there in, 2000 was the last time I was at the Family History Center in Salt Lake City, and it's changed quite a bit. And a lady said, well, hang on to your hat. It's going to change again. Okay, I don't know why people are talking about refugees. I'm not talking about refugees. I'm talking about family history. Please be respectful of the topic here, okay? All right, I can just happen to see that text. The text is this big for me to see. Please be considerate. All right, so anyway, well, as far as refugees, that's up to the refugees. I can't make people talk to me. A lot of people use me to figure out how to get over here, and then they never follow through with promise to come on air. I have no control over them, and they have no obligation to come on air. So if you want refugees on the air, you need to tell people you know that are refugees to do interviews with me. Okay? All right? That's when the next one will be. When refugees who say they're going to interview me actually follow through. All right. Now, there's at least one family here in the States that said they'll do a refugee interview with me after I get back home. So I know about that. And I'll wait for them to contact me. Okay, so back to the topic at hand, family history. Folks, it was really incredible. Their resources are amazing. They had so many computers there. The lady who came to help me, she was not a subject matter expert in the data I was looking for, but she's covering Germany. Anyway, but because anyway, so long story short, she was helpful, but she went and got the guy. Now, I can read the old German script, the Gothic script, but it's been a while, so I'm a little rusty. I used to be very good at it. And of course, I speak German. She doesn't speak German. She can read the Gothic script. So we're trying to read a few words, which the handwriting wasn't so easy for me to understand. So she went and got the expert, Daniel. Daniel was amazing. Daniel came over, and Daniel, it's like boom, 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 read it all. I'm like, oh, that's what that says. And there's one thing, is like Eisenbahn something, and I figured that out. He couldn't figure out the last part either. But he got 95% of it correct. I got about 65% of it, maybe 70% correct. And that lady got about, she got about half correct. So that was pretty cool. Anyway, so that was interesting. So that was earlier today. Salt Lake. Let me put this down now. I'll hold this tube here. So did everybody leave because I asked people not to ask refugee stuff? Yeah, the refugee thing has become a bitter poison chalice here. I've lost a lot of my regular viewers because they got tired of refugee stuff, and a lot of people don't respect the fact that when I'm doing the news to not be harping about refugee stuff in the chat. So I've lost a lot of viewers. A lot of people tune in just to hear refugee information, then they just kind of they took off and never came back. So it's done some grievous harm to the channel. But I'll keep doing what I'm doing, and I'll keep answering refugee questions. I just ask people to be respectful who are refugee aspirants, and those who aren't to be respectful on both sides. Anyway, so from there, I went to the Delta Center, which is where the Utah Jazz, the basketball team, and the new national hockey team, the Utah Mammoth, play. Now, I made a big mistake. Before I came out here last week, there was a 25% sale on NHL merchandise, and they had jerseys. I could have bought a jersey 25% off because it's kind of pricey, and other stuff. But the problem is that I didn't have time, and I figured I'll buy it in Utah. Well, I got here, no jerseys. The preseason starts this weekend, and they have no jerseys for sale. Not a single jersey. And their selection of shirts was piss poor. The shirt I liked, they only had in medium and large and small. No extra large, no double X large, nothing. The selection stuff wasn't very good. So I got a little bit of stuff there. So I left the Delta Center and I drove to Costco to top off, which was kind of not the best idea. I thought it was a good idea to fill up the tank, and I got it cheaper there. But then when I got to Wyoming, in the southwest corner of Wyoming, the gasoline was 30 cents a gallon cheaper there. 6 1/2 dozen, it doesn't matter. So I left Salt Lake City, drove through the mountains, and came into Wyoming, stopped, kind of hungry, grabbed something from McDonald's. I know it's not the best choice, but I was hungry. So I grabbed something from McDonald's. Only 17 likes, seriously, 31 of you here and only 17 likes. 14 of you are getting a free ride. So it was Evanston, Wyoming. From there, I drove north, and I went back into Idaho. Well, I was in Utah for a bit, and went to Bear Lake, which is a beautiful lake, and I'll send you the photos. I didn't take any videos. And then I drove up along the side of Bear Lake and back into Idaho, then through Idaho and back into Wyoming, and came down through the mountain pass into Star Valley, a place I was last at 3 decades ago. There's been a lot more development here, a lot of places, but the place that I was going to buy a lot still has lots available. The problem is that they've quintupled in price. Yeah. Anyway, so I'll have to consider very hard that. But I've been taking a look around. There's plenty of things here. Back when I was here last time, the only restaurant they really had in town was a Pizza Hut. That's actually closed because of COVID. It's on the verge of reopening. They've renovated, and they're about to reopen a Pizza Hut here. They have a Burger King here now. Ooh. There's the Veterans Administration Clinic here as well. I saw a chiropractor, orthodontist, lots of facilities that I didn't see here before. And so it's just stunningly beautiful, folks. I mean, this is probably the ugliest part of the whole valley right here. This is not particularly pretty. I mean, look at that. That's just gorgeous. Here, let me slide you over this way. So this valley sits right between 2 mountain ranges, one on the east side where the sun is setting now, and one behind me on the west side. And yeah, so this is not the prettiest part of the valley either. It's really amazing. Anyway, so I came here. I went to a realtor office, got there about 4:30, sat down, talked to a nice gentleman, showed me some of the lots, printed some things out for me, some things that might interest me. And from there, I came, checked in my hotel, and the Wi-Fi is pretty good. I'm standing outside using the Wi-Fi from the hotel to transmit this broadcast, so that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy about that. So I really wanted to show you the mountains here because I don't think I'll be able to do it anywhere else. Tomorrow, I've topped off. I went and had some dinner at a Mexican place. It was pretty good, moderately priced, about $20 for dinner. It was very good. I'm full, at least for now. And then topped off, just come back to the hotel and was putting things in the room. And I figured before the sun sets, I should show this to my audience, because some people just find this fantastic from a live stream perspective, see that kind of backdrop. So, and I'm watching lots of planes taking off over here from the local airport, and they're small prop jobs, so they're not going very far. But this town here now has become kind of like a bedroom community, even though it's about an hour south of Jackson. Jackson Hole is so expensive, people can't afford to live there. The plumbers, the electricians, the masons, the carpenters, the hotel workers, a lot of them live down here in Star Valley because they can't afford to live up there, and it's becoming too pricey for people here. That's going to be problematic in the future. But you know, so let me give you an idea. Hampton Inn, which is a moderately priced, decent hotel in the Hilton chain, typically will run you $70 to $130, $140 at most Hamptons, except in major metropolitan areas. The Hampton in Jackson Hole, $455 for a room tonight. Needless to say, I don't make that kind of money on YouTube, so I'm staying here in Star Valley at a Fairfield Inn by Marriott, which is nice and much less expensive than that. So anyway, tomorrow, folks, early in the morning, I'm going to get up, drive to Star Valley Ranch, which is where the lots are that I want to take a look at, take a few snaps, drive around, see if it still interests me. And then it's off to Jackson. I'll probably stop briefly in Jackson Hole. I've been there. It's not much for me to see. I'll just pop in, maybe take a few up-to-date snaps. And then it's on to Grand Teton. Grand Teton National Park, I'll go there, stop along the way, take some nice photos, a little bit of video. If I have a good signal, which I can't guarantee, maybe I'll do a live stream from there, a short one. And from there, it's Yellowstone. That's right, man. Hey, boo-boo. Yogi the Bear. That's right. Get me a picnic basket. Jellystone. No, Yellowstone National Park. Yellowstone, my intent is to go to Old Faithful and maybe to the lake, and then head out to West Yellowstone, Montana to get back. Tomorrow's a long, long day for me. I plan to start my day around 7 a.m. on the road at the latest to hit the road, because I've got a lot of driving to do tomorrow. So tomorrow, and then back into Idaho. So that's why I have to go up. The hotels are just too expensive. I'm not paying $200 or $300 a night staying in a hotel, especially in West Yellowstone, Montana, which is a dumpy 1960s hotels that are falling apart, and they're not worth the price they're charging. It's just a tourist ripoff. In Yellowstone, I wanted to stay in the Old Faithful Lodge, which is where I stayed in 1989 when I came back in the Army. I was going to Fort Chuk, Arizona. I traveled all the way across the country from Ohio across the north on I-90, Interstate 90, and then came through Wyoming and went to Yellowstone, and then went to Seattle, and then down the coast to California and back to Arizona. But when I stayed at the Yellowstone Lodge in 1989, it was the same time of year, late September, maybe a few days earlier than this. It was earlier September than this, and they had snow already in early September. And I walked up to Old Faithful, and there was a lodge. I said, well, let me go see if they got a room, because it's this afternoon. Let me find a room. Walked in, they had a room for like $69 or $79. Took it, went and had one of the best meals of my life. If I remember correctly, it might have been sea bass with a Chardonnay. It was one of the best meals of my life. It was fantastic. The lodge is amazing. I had such a great time. I was going to try to book the Old Faithful Lodge for tomorrow night. $683 before taxes. I don't think so. I don't think so. Homie, don't play that way. $683? What are these people drinking, man? What are they smoking? Their socks? I mean, that's crazy. Who the frick is going to pay $683 to stay in a lodge in the middle of nowhere? I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not Bill Gates. I'm not Larry Ellison. I'm not Joe Biden. I'm not Donald Trump. I don't have that kind of money. Anyway, so, you know, you got to, so because of that, I've got to push on through. I want to stay overnight in Yellowstone and then go onward. But because of that, I'll have to push through Yellowstone. Can't stand West Yellowstone. There's nothing to see there anyway. It's just a tourist trap. And then go south to Rexburg, and I get a hotel room for $110. That's more my style, or my speed anyway. So that's tomorrow night. And then on Wednesday, I have to overnight in Sun Valley, but I'm not really in Sun Valley. I'll be in Ketchum, which is just down the road from Sun Valley, just a couple miles. And I'll check out Sun Valley, which I've never been to. And then drive on to the airport and depart Thursday and head back. So anyway, I hope that this trip has been interesting for you guys so far. Yes, that is very expensive, Ingrid. Yeah, it's very, very expensive. Yeah, I hope it's been interesting for you so far. I've done my best to keep bringing you content. I know for a lot of South Africans who are sleeping right now, I'm surprised people are actually tuned in for this, because it's 8 hours behind. And since it's, going on 7, that would mean that it's, 3 o'clock in the morning South African time. So I'm doing my best to probably, one of the nights I was just knackered, I couldn't do a stream, but I'm doing my best to bring you the night owls, and I'll probably do one tonight. So if you're up, you can watch the night owls. We'll cover a few news topics, talk about these things. Yeah, anyway, so the moon is half tonight. I'd put it on the screen, but you probably can't see it because there's a lamp pole in the way. But the moon is exactly half. I didn't know it was a half moon tonight. That's interesting. So I can see the moon. I can see the sun. I can't see the stars. It's not dark enough to see the stars. Anyway. Yeah, so anyway, folks, I just wanted to do a quick stream and let you know what's going on, where I'm at, and how things are going. So I've got to go through my bag and start sorting things out, and tchotchkes and things I've purchased along the way, magnets, lapel pins, and all that stuff, and start packing stuff in my suitcase so that I don't have to do all of this at one time on the final night. Anyway, also I need to see if there's a fridge in the room. I didn't notice that there was, so I can chill my drinks. If not, I'll leave them in the car because it'll be cold here tonight. Unlike Salt Lake City, last night I stayed in the Hilton in Salt Lake. Now, again, I'm not Richie Rich. I used my points. It cost me 48,000 points, but the Hilton was worth it. It was an amazing room. The hotel was quiet, and you're never going to guess this, folks. Serendipity and I, we must have some kind of relationship. I mean, Mike Pence at the airport, I'm the only person in Chicago here. I had 1,000 people recognized him. I just run into people all the time. And who did I run into? When I was in Japan, I ran into, what's his name? Bill Beaumont, Sir Bill Beaumont. I ran into him on the train when I was going to a game in Japan. And there was no one else on the train except his entourage and me. And I walked up and said, hey, got a selfie with him. So this serendipitous thing, I was waiting for the elevator. I had to go down because my key, I asked for a late checkout because I had to go to the Family History Library and walk back. And so instead of 11, I asked to check out 12. They let me do that. And so I come back, my key didn't work. I had to go back downstairs. The key came up, grabbed my things, and went to leave. And as I went to leave, the elevator came down from I was on the 17th floor, it was 18. It came down from the 18th floor, opened up, and there's two young ladies with Irish accents wearing blue t-shirts that say World Rugby. So there were a couple people from the hotel. I said, World Rugby? They said, yes. I said, are you with World Rugby? Yes, we are. And she said, she saw my shirt. She goes, that's France, isn't it? 2023. I said, yes, it is. She said, did you watch the women's? I said, I just left there. I was there for a month and I stayed for the quarterfinals. I said, I cover rugby, play-by-play and color commentary. And I said, what are you doing here? They're already scouting and setting up contracts for the Rugby World Cup in 2031, 6 years from today, in Salt Lake. So Utah is going to be one of the venues for the Rugby World Cup, folks. Make your plans. I will come to Utah for that, for the Rugby World Cup. Assuming I still have a pulse and I'm still floating around somewhere and I'm not in a wheelchair or something like that, I will come. But yeah, it was pretty cool. So I mean, I just run into people everywhere I go. It's amazing. I don't know. I just, it's, of course, by the same token, you probably say, Chris, you missed this person, that person, that person. Just because you're in the wrong place, wrong time. The one person I never run into is Brian Habana. 4 times I have been within 30 seconds to 2 minutes of Brian Habana being somewhere, and either he walked in before me and left, or came in after I was there. When I came back, he just left. 4 times. I don't think I'm ever going to meet Brian Habana because I just don't have luck. But everyone else I just kind of run into, man. So yeah, so people from World Rugby are here in Salt Lake City, scouting venues. Obviously, the Hilton is going to be a place where teams are going to be staying because they're going to the Hilton, and they tend to do that. In the UK, they use the Hilton a lot for the World Cup. So we know we have the Men's World Cup in 2027. So this is already the one after that. And they're here working on it. So that's pretty cool. Must be nice because I think World Rugby is headquartered in Ireland, if I'm not mistaken, in Dublin. Must be nice to work for World Rugby and get to travel around all over the world and set up hotels. And, and obviously they came from the 18th floor. I'm a gold member. I used to be a diamond member. They didn't put me on the 18th floor. They put me on the 17th floor. They used to put me on the top floor. Anyway, so it must be nice to be treated like royalty like that. Yeah, maybe World Rugby should hire me, but I don't think they like me. Anyway, so anyway, wow, I'm surprised we have an audience this large, 56 tonight. And guys, I can't really read the chat. I can see some of the names. There's Hendo, CB's there, the Red's there. I can see some of you guys, but I really can't read the text. It's pretty tiny. So anyway, I hope you're all well, and I'm well. This is the place that I considered 31 years ago to call my home. No income tax here. They rely on the oil revenue and mineral wealth to pay a lot of the taxes. It's affordable here. Very conservative state, except for Jackson Hole. Very conservative and God-fearing people, and a lot of people of faith, hardworking people, respectful people with good manners, and very prosperous state too, but very thinly populated. It's the lowest population density in the United States. Just over 560,000 people live in this state, and it's massive. It's like the size of South Africa. So imagine 63 million people there and 560,000 here. Yeah, and there's a reason for that. There's like a big desert in the middle of the state. There's mountains to the west, and there's some mountains in the northeast. But yeah, the middle is kind of dry, bone dry. So anyway, but it's an amazing spot. Now this, literally, I can see Idaho from here. That's how close the state is to the border, to the state line. The other side of the valley is Idaho. That's in Idaho. this side of the valley. So the mountains over there in Idaho, this side is Wyoming. Very narrow strip. So in fact, the state line doesn't even make it to the hills on that side. They're actually in Idaho. Anyway, so, but on this side, obviously, this is Wyoming. From here, going eastwards for hundreds of miles. So earlier today, when I first saw the first sign for Cheyenne, which is on the other side of Wyoming, that was down in the corner, it said 780 kilometers. It didn't say it, said it in miles, but it was 780 kilometers away. Woo, that's a long way. That's a long way. Yep, anyway, so there you go, folks. Sounds like a wonderful place to stay. Quiet, and looks like it has a country. Oh, it does have a country feel to it. But it is isolated. I mean, there's times in the past where people were snowed in the valley here. They couldn't get out, like 10 feet of snow, 3 meters of snow, and it takes days to clean it out. So you got to be prepared for the winter time. But I mean, it's easy enough here. It's not like the old days. Oh, there's Domino's. Somebody's getting a pizza. Is it here at the hotel? It is here at the hotel. Here comes Domino's, folks. There he is in the white car. See the black car? That's my rental car. Chevy Blazer. So Domino's delivers. Yeah, of course they do. Anyway, yeah. So there you have it from Star Valley. I just thought I'd share this with you all. Yeah, Ingrid's my kind of place too. I like the snow. I like the cold. Love the mountains. Love the patriotic feel. Yeah, it's of course it's a carry state too. Carry firearms too. People respect the Second Amendment here. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm still only got 38 likes, 52 people. What's up with that, man? Why is it so hard to get people to push the like button? People forget. I know. I know you tune in, you don't think about it because you're listening to the show, but why do people not push that like button more often? It's not hard. What is that? Domino's what? Well, I don't eat Domino's. I'm just saying it was a Domino's guy. I don't eat Domino's, Courtney. I'm just saying Domino's delivers. I like Papa John's, but I don't even eat them anymore because they're a ripoff now. So I haven't had pizza in a while because I'm not eating that cardboard pizza you get in supermarkets unless I make it myself. Anyway, I think that's going to do it. Once again, well, it's not just Mormons here, Courtney, but yeah, this valley was actually settled by first Europeans. I think they actually came and settled here were Mormons in the 19th century, if I'm not mistaken. They populated this valley pretty quickly. So, yep. And Courtney, well, you're right. They do have a big church here, Tabernacle. It's beautiful. That wasn't there last time I was here. Like I said, the last time I was here, the only thing was like a Pizza Hut, a Pizza Hut, a Burger King, and a bunch of local restaurants. So, what's that? Wow, the sky's still up. Yeah, well, it's remember 2 hours. Well, Shawnee, you're in Minnesota, so an hour behind you. So it's only what 7 here. I don't have the time on my clock. I can't see that. So what time is it? You guys tell me. But anyway, yeah. So we're on Mountain Standard Time here. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I will do night owls a little bit later on. Okay, like I did last night. So thanks for tuning in, folks. I'm just go through my things and get all set up, and temperature's already dropping. Yeah, I can already feel it. It's already dropped probably about 5 or 6 degrees since I started standing here, and that was 23 minutes ago. That's how quickly temperature changes. So you gotta be ready for that. As the sun starts to disappear, because we are at over 6,000 feet, about 6,000 feet. Yeah, a little over 6,000 feet here. So when the sun goes down, it gets cold. Anyway, but you know me. I don't need to worry about that because got these shorts on. Anyway, so rain or shine, snow or sleet, I'm in shorts unless I have to wear trousers. But I will be wearing trousers tomorrow for part of my day because I want to do some shots for Jim Green boots. And so I'm going to do those, and hopefully they'll come out all right, and we can promote Jim Green boots. The FEMA tents, there are no FEMA tents here. No, I don't think there's any refugees here either. I don't think there's a refugee settlement agency here, so you'd have to come here on your own. Anyway, yes, those shorts again. Guys, I'll be on later on. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you tuning in. God bless. Sleep well. Have a good evening wherever you're at. Those out here in the Mountain Standard Time, thanks for tuning in. And I really appreciate everybody's patronage. I would appreciate more likes. There's 50 now. That's better. All right, guys. Cheers from Star Valley in Wyoming. All right. Bye-bye.